Hello everyone! Welcome back to StarLadder I-League Invitational Season 5 and China Qualifiers, and this is our second semifinal. We are getting down to the end of the qualifier here. We've already got LGD Gaming waiting in the grand finals, trying to get that land spot for themselves, and here in front of us we have two more hopeful teams, Keen Gaming and Invictus Gaming. We got a best of 3 coming your way. I think this should actually be a fairly close series, maybe slight favor to IG, but we'll have to see how things play out. IG have been playing the Dark Willow quite a bit recently, so it looks like Keen Gaming have been doing their homework. Chen also going to be banned out. We're going to see the Nature's Prophet and the Night Stalker, both pretty trendy in China, also removed from the pool. I'm Basskip, great to be here casting for you guys tonight, and I hope you'll enjoy this last best of 3 for the day for StarLadder at the very least. We've got DPL also going on at the same time. There's some more China Dota action going on there, but I think this is a pretty good place to be. I think this should actually be a really good match. And then there's of course some Dream League on a little bit later. What have we been seeing? Dream League saw a little bit of the Beastmaster Wisp picked yesterday by Liquid. I'm not going to spoil anything in case people are behind on Dream League results, but definitely some interesting matches to go and check out there. Elder Titan going to be banned, so Death Prophet, Razor, Tusk, all going to make it through into the pool. The Naga Siren as well has been quite popular as of late, so it could be something else that we're looking at here. But Invictus Gaming, what is their selection going to be in terms of their first pick? They have been favoring the Elder Titan, the Chen, sort of bounty hunter sort of stuff as their first pick in the last couple of days. So if they do want the bounty hunter, they could take that here. But Keen Gaming, their priority is also pretty similar. They've been playing a lot of Chen themselves. Quite willing to first phase a gyrocopter, which is a little bit out of the ordinary. I guess the other big hero is Tiny that's made it through into the pool. But Invictus Gaming will instead opt for some Sand King. Have they been playing that much? Yeah, 1, 2, couple of Sand King games in the last few days. Who was playing that Sand King on their side? Looks like it was an offlane.
10 seconds remaining.
SK, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, in fact, being played by SRF, their offlane player.
Radiant team pick.
They picked it against Big God in their earlier series. I wasn't casting that one. I was casting DPL on that day. So I'm not actually sure if there was any English coverage for the very first day of StarLadder China qualifiers, but every other match has been covered if anyone wants to go back and check out the VODs. King Gaming going to grab themselves that Tusk. Pretty nice to have against the Sand King, in all honesty. Gives you some counter initiation. The Frozen Sigil can potentially scout him in the trees. Tusk just has that. It's not easy necessarily to do, but you have that potential to really ruin the Sand King's game. He comes in, he gets off that first burrow strike. He's pretty much always going to retreat back, try and find some space in the trees, hide around there, channel up the epicenter, come back
Radiant team back
with another blink burrow. And that's where Tusk, if you scout him with the Sigil and you hit him with the shards at the right moment, or you pull your team into the snowball to dodge the epicenter, that can be potentially a game-winning, well, fight-winning, or even game-winning play in the right context. And Tusk is also just strong in general at the moment. I mean, it's not just the Sand King counterpick here necessarily. Keen Gaming, like I was saying, they like this gyrocopter in the first phase. It moves early, it's active, it's aggressive. Not too surprised to see that picked here, and Invictus Gaming will just be going for the Tiny. Same kind of story, able to move around in the early game. I feel like Tiny does start to fall off a little bit as the game goes on, but his strength in the laning stage through those first, say, 20-25 minutes, it's really undeniable. So not too surprised to see the Tiny picked up here. This hero just gets so tanky so quickly. He's got a ton of strength growth. His armor isn't as garbage now as it used to be because of some of the changes to its ultimate. You've got that magic resist talent at level 10 if you so choose to take it. And all of this combined just makes Tiny monstrously difficult to bring down. Two-man ganks pretty much never going to be enough. It's going to take both of your supports plus a core to be able to bring him down. And I think that's a big part of why teams have been picking him up so much recently. He's just also so annoying in multiple different lanes. And anytime you've got a hero that feels like it has a strong overall power
Invictus
level and it's
Gaming's
got that
turn to
flexibility
bat.
aspect in there as well, you're going to see it a lot in the early stages of a draft. But no credence given at all to the Death Prophet
Radiant
just yet.
team
Viper
back.
is going to be banned out. Maybe Keen Gaming looking at something like a Dragonite here. Their building damage isn't amazing just yet, so the Viper also potentially leads us towards this line of thinking, which is what IG are going for here, banning out the Lifestealer, that they
10
could be going
seconds
for
remaining.
a more kiteable kind of melee carry here. The Batrider ban would also seem to suggest that. I don't know exactly what that hero would be in this situation. I mean, they can just put the Gyrocopter in the safe lane if they want.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know exactly where IG have been
5
running
seconds
their
remaining.
Tiny. Let's see if we can scope that out.
Radiant team pick.
Where have they picked Tiny recently? Let's have a look here. Always nice to have the old second monitor alongside, get a little bit more information. Okay, so they played it against
10 seconds
Vici Gaming
remaining.
in the DPL. How did that
5
go? They
seconds
won.
remaining.
And that was aggressive, playing it in that circumstance. And then they also picked it against LFY in a game that they won. So they've won both of their tiny games in the last week or so. And that was once again aggressive playing it. So it looks like it is probably going to be your safe lane tiny of this game. Death Prophet, as I was just talking about it, is going to get picked up. Faceless Void, interestingly enough, is the ban from
10
IG.
seconds remaining.
I guess they're just kind of looking at these bans and they're like, oh, what do they
5
want?
seconds remaining.
The Void also... There's not that much synergy with what Keen Gaming have so far, necessarily. These two teams probably know each other better than I know them, so there's definitely some other context there that we might be missing. But there you go. Death Prophet picked up. This could be safe lane or mid lane. There are some Chinese teams that are willing to run the Death Prophet safe lane. I don't think it's necessarily bad at all. Though I think the more standard configuration here is just going to be the Death Prophet mid, Gyrocopter heading safe. A little bit brave to be picking Death Prophet into the kind of lineup that IG have so far with lots and lots of burst. But if you can just survive through that burst, maybe with a little bit of help from your Tusk with a snowball, then the Death Prophet can actually be pretty nice against these heroes that IG have picked up so far. But IG are already digging pretty deep into their reserve time here. There's still plenty of good position 5s left in the pool, so would probably want to see them grabbing that. They're probably also discussing whether or not
Radiant
Sand King's
team
going to go
pick.
off lane or they want another off lane hero. Yeah, alright, so gonna grab the Brewmaster for themselves. It's not going to be an easy lane for the Brew necessarily against the Tusk Gyro plus maybe a Witch Doctor or something getting picked up here. Could even see an Oracle as a very strong option
10
in this
seconds
situation.
remaining.
Good synergy with the Death Prophet. The Fate's Edict
5 seconds
could
remaining.
be very useful. Just to you chuck the Fate's Edict on Death Prophet. Death Prophet doesn't care if she can't get auto attacks off, and then she just can't get bursted by the Sand King or the Tiny at that point. So could be nice. It hasn't been a very common pick recently, but could be something worth considering. And I think IG, their answer to the fact that the Brewmaster is going to be zoned out of the lane pretty heavily is that it's going to be the Sand King and the Brewmaster in that lane. Keen Gaming might also be eyeing up something like the Rubik. I know that, if I'm a support player at heart. I'm a big Rubik player. I'm
Invictus
looking at this IG
Gaming's
lineup
time to
thinking that there is some pretty nice stuff to steal, but instead they will go for the Disruptors. So more of the teamfight angle, good counter initiation with the Static Storm Kinetic
Radiant
Field,
team
Glimpse, help protect their Death Prophet a little bit. IG are going to make the Death Prophet's life a little bit harder, and maybe Keen wishing that they had picked that Oracle now, as the Ancient Apparition is going to come out. So some very strong kill potential across the IG safe lane, though that is going to
10
require the
seconds
Sand King to be
remaining.
down there perhaps a little bit more for the setup. I guess
5
Tiny can kind of
seconds
walk up
remaining.
and go for the Avatos combo, but then at the same time, a lot of the time these safe lane tinies and the more farm-oriented tinies, we do sometimes see them going for the maxed out tree grab instead of maxing the nukes first, which does make it a little bit weaker with
Invictus
the AA
Gaming's turn to
potentially.
ban.
And I don't know what off-lane hero is going to do well against this IG setup. Like, Puck maybe survives the lane, but playing Puck against Tiny is just always so... It's not very much
10
fun.
seconds remaining.
There's lots of magical bursts to
5
deal with. A
seconds
Tide, though. I don't know, maybe Tide does okay. It would be nice to
Invictus
add
Gaming's
just that
turn
little
to
bit
pick.
more team fight potentially to the Keen Gaming side. And IG agree. They're going to ban the Tide. If Keen want an Underlord, they could pick the Underlord, but Underlord is so much more immobile than Tide. I mean, not that Tide is a particularly
10
mobile hero, but
seconds
Underlord's
remaining.
just slow and lumbering and a little bit easier to bring down with the
5
AA
seconds
Tiny,
remaining.
it feels like. I think a lot of that is that Tide can occasionally get away with like buying boots first. This is probably even, if the Tide was picked, this would probably be a lane where you do get boots first, but for IG, now just got to decide what they want on that mid lane. We've been seeing a little bit of Lina
Radiant
recently.
team
Could be a Lina game here, but nope. IG feeling confident to try and take this one late. They are going to pick up the Medusa. Keen Gaming, decent damage output. The Death Prophet scales pretty well. The Gyrocopter scales pretty well. I don't think they have to fall all over themselves
10
this game
seconds
worrying
remaining.
about the Medusa necessarily, but
5
IG's
seconds
cores
remaining.
are now quite tanky across the board. Deuce is tanky, Brewmaster's tanky, Tiny's tanky. There's going to be a lot to split
Choose
up
your hero.
that exorcism damage. And Keen Gaming will just round things out with the Clockwork. Interesting. That's actually really interesting to me. I don't think Clockwork is a particularly good offlane hero. It is good against Brewmaster and Sand King. You know, Ancient Apparition is pretty free kills for the clock, but I don't know how much he's gonna get out of this lane. I guess we'll have to see. And then I feel like they've now made their potential late game scaling much weaker with the Clockwork. Unless he has an amazing early game and really just starts snowballing out of control, I feel like the clock is eventually going to hit that point and just kind of fall off, which would be troublesome. Here we go. Game 1. Whose draft do I like more? I guess I like the IG draft a little bit more.
Something for everybody.
Prepare for battle.
The teamfight potential on the Keen Gaming side is really strong, though. I think they can take the... You know, they can get a lot of work done in the early stages, and I think they should do quite well in their lanes. It looks like they are, in fact, going to be sending the Death Prophet to the safe lane, and Old Chicken's going to be taking that Gyrocopter over towards mid. Dark is, in fact, your offlane Clockwork. Got Yuna ready to rotate around a little bit with the Tusk, probably hoping to set up some kills on this Medusa over on the mid lane, which the Gyrocopter is definitely going to help out with. And IG, meanwhile, just 4 heroes camped up here on this cliff. They are going to go for a smoke, hoping for this first blood. Get this game off to a fast start. They don't really need the Dusa to come along for this one. A Burrow Strike, a Clap, and then the Chilling Touch would be more than enough to find a kill. They see the
30
Disruptor.
seconds to battle.
Has he seen them just yet? He spots the Sand King now. Throws out a couple of pings. And Waboka, I don't know if they'll be able to finish this. Q also comes scouting around the side to see if they can find anybody. Looks like just going to be 2 Bounty Runes apiece. Aggressive already has the Tree Grab picked up. And yeah, King Gaming just going to secure those top Bounty Runes. We will have a pause. So it's going to be really important that the Clockwork gets a fast 6 and is able to start moving and doing stuff. I don't know if they can kill this Tiny necessarily. It'll be interesting to see how Q spends his time. I think he will probably go top right away. Boboka looking like he's going to be helping the Brewmaster out in this lane quite a bit, but he does have the Windlaze picked up, so might be able to rotate around a little bit and also put pressure elsewhere. It would be nice to see the two supports sort of linking up in the early game and getting things done. The Disruptor's really not going to be doing too much, I would guess, in the first few minutes, but if he gets some fast levels, his pull is unblocked. He might just do a little bit of chain pulling, and then once it gets level 4, level 5, could quite easily run up mid. You know, Deuce not the most mobile hero, pretty easy to get those glimpse kills on. So, alright, got the reconnect, and we'll be able to get underway. What's our warding situation, actually? Oh, we DC'd again. So, Radiant Vision, just covering both of the runes, kind of covering this rotation angle from bottom over towards mid as well. Got pretty good vision there. Try and track the Sand King. I think some teams would have planted the ward like over here instead, but this is also a decent spot.
Beast bomb.
And I think this is a little bit more
Something
likely
for
to spot
everybody.
the like start of the rotation from the Sand King, which is nice. And then, it's just some vision. All right, guys, come on, chill it out. I guess you got to keep yourself entertained somehow.
Beast bomb.
I wonder if Clockwork's gonna try and steal the wave or anything, or if he'll
Beast bomb.
just cog it back. He's already got the power cog skilled up. It is gonna be annoying for the Tiny not having that much mana regen. Getting hit by the cogs a couple of times is really gonna hurt his kill potential in this lane, which is actually where the Clockwork could get quite a lot of farm here. I think without the Tiny nukes, they don't actually have enough to be able to kill him, even if the AA and the Sand King are up in his face.
Something for everybody. Something for everybody. Beast bomb.
Let's enjoy some peaceful waterfall sounds while we wait. I'm just gonna check some hotkeys real fast, guys. Whoop. Is back. It is Medusa back.
Beast bomb. Oh boy.
Nope. Still got problems. Oh, Deuce is back, but now we don't have an Ancient Apparition. Oh, NA is back. Woo! Maybe we can finally start this game. Nice. Alright. Dota time, baby. Bounty runes, like I was saying.
Got it.
Looks like 2
I'll take your
apiece.
tribute.
Yuna gonna swing back and grab this one for himself. Who gets the better block on the mid lane? Old Chicken holding it down. XXS looking like it might be a little bit better. Disruptor already throwing down the 1 Thunderstrike, and Baboka taking some pretty big damage. And drop down quite low. Alright, yep. It is XSS with the slightly better block. Old Chicken already going to go in with the homing missile. Get that harassment in. And Q and Baboka are going to be looking for this first blood down here. Baboka's managed to worm his way all the way through into the trees. They've also got the Thunderclap, and the Chilling Touch is so much damage. IG, easy first blood grab. They're going to try and make a go on aggressive up top in the meantime, knowing that those supports are down bottom, but he's just going to fight them off with a tree grab and then wait out the ice shards, but he's now trapped inside the cogs. Q will be able to bust him out of there. It doesn't. Oh, it does have a salve waiting in his backpack, so he'll get healed back up off of that. A fairly nice first blood to grab, and good to get the Brewmaster off to a good start down at bottom. Also forcing the Death Prophet to scale up the Spirit Siphon, though she doesn't really want the Crypt Swarm too early on anyway here. Oh, Baboka gonna hijack the wave. Disruptor doing his best to chase him away, but not really all that much he can do. Baboka, is he just gonna double it up and then TP? Might do so. Disruptor's only level 1. Can't really stop him. Yeah, looks like that's the plan. Double the wave. Get them all stuck together. And now what? Where are we going, Baboka? Yep, alright. TP him back. Takes a little bit of damage in the process, but SRF able to force these creeps underneath the tower at the same time. MS gets the first one. Can he get the second creep? Doesn't get lucky. Tower doesn't roll low enough. And this one's quite easy unless he misses. Yeah. SRF being a real nuisance here.
What have we here?
At least the Crypt Storm coming in handy now. Disruptor gonna do the best that he can, but still only level 1.
Dire's top tower
Can't
is
really
under
contribute
attack.
that much with just a Thunderstrike. Aggressive, also stuck farming up underneath this tower, but that's just because there was a little pull run by Q. Did not manage to get the pull connection though, as Dark does come over and steal the wave. And actually quite a lot of damage on XSS on mid. Old Chicken with those 2 points up in the Rocket Barrage. Doing quite a lot of damage. There is a Fairy Fire and the Mana Shield. So XXS not in too much trouble. Disruptor wanted to try and get that side pull to deny a couple of those creeps, but looks like SRF's still going to get the whole thing up underneath this tower. I think Baboka's been playing this early game really nicely. Hopefully takes his fair share of this experience down bottom as well. It is quite a bit harder as the position 4 now without that bounty rune experience to get your levels early on. Tusk does have his level 2 now, so could potentially rotate over to the mid lane, maybe get a kill on this Medusa, though they would have to be careful of the Sand King TP though. Baboka's not carrying a TP scroll at the moment. Did use his initial TP for that wave doubling stunt a bit earlier. But in terms of an overall lead, it does seem to be slightly favoring IG, though the Gyrocopter is giving the Dusa a pretty hard time at mid. Doesn't really matter that much though once Dusa gets her initial levels. Gets her phase boots and her Mask of Madness, so I think she's just going to retreat straight into the jungle and start farming up just fine. And this Clockwork now level 3, looking for something up top, but Aggressive still just quite comfortably farming underneath this tower. And you can't really go on the tiny as Clockwork, you're just going to get tossed right out of your cogs. So not the easiest. Looks like we're going to have IG grabbing these bottom bounty runes, Keen Gaming laying claim to the top ones. And XXS forced to get underneath this tower once again. Old Chicken being very aggressive with the Rocket Barrage, and he's going to spot himself a regen rune. Can XXS cancel it? Ooh, wait, Old Chicken. Alright, does get it canceled, but now Yuna coming in. XXS completely blocked in. Old Chicken has just enough for 1 Rocket Barrage, baiting him beautifully. And still has the salve and clarity to top himself back off. Baboka trying for that TP reaction that I was talking about, but Dusa too far away from the tower to be helped. So Dusa goes down. Keen Gaming evening things up on the board. Gyrocopter looking like he should be able to rotate around quite a bit, and I guess going to show why Keen Gaming do like this Gyrocopter pick so much. Trying for the kill on Dark, but nice save from Yuna will prevent the cold feed proc.
Dire's
Dark will be
top
able to
tower
salve back
is
up.
under attack.
And now what? Oh. Disruptor just going to be popping down the exact same ward. Pretty happy about that one. Looks like he did not spot the Sand King planting his ward, but Baboka just going to trade a few hits here. Does have his Tranquil Boots already picked up, so he'll be able to heal back up to full more action up top. Aggressive trappings out of the cogs and other shards. Also going to be blocking him in. The battery assault's doing big damage. Baboka going to try and turn this one around. He comes TPing in. He's going to get the two-man Burrow Strike off, and that's just enough to keep Aggressive alive. Rocket Flare coming off cooldown in 1 second's time, but Dark might just die before that happens. He does get the flare off. One more touch from Q finishes the kill. Yuna also going to turn around, trying to find the aggressive Tiny, but he just jukes his way into the trees. Still has a couple of wand charges. Baboka waiting for the mana for that burst strike. Still going to take a while with just the clarity. Q also trying to clarity his way up to another spell, but he's completely And Tiny, all he can contribute is the tree toss. Does get it. One more touch from Q is going to do it. He somehow finds it. Baboka and Q now splitting the battery assault among the two of them. Can they actually escape? Looks like Dark will just commit on the Sand King. Chases him down, respawning in time.
It's killing time.
And the two remaining IG members will be able to go and take a quick shrine trip and heal themselves back up. So overall trade ends up being a 2-for-1. Works out pretty nicely. Aggressive surviving through all of that. Like I said, Tiny is just... he's a tanky mofo. That's for damn sure. Like, look at this guy. He's got a wand, so he has a grand total of +2 all stats, and he has 1100
Radiant
HP
are scanning.
at level 5.
Dire are scanning.
Pretty crazy. Disruptor with an Invis burn, hoping for something on the mid lane. Pops out with the kinetic field, but IG are here with decent numbers. Can they get the Burrow Strike off? XSS just dying way too quickly to the maxed out Rocket Barrage. Old Chicken's a little bit low on mana, but the wand charges will give him one more barrage, and they keep on diving. Baboka and Q both dropping low, but the tower shots will drive Old Chicken back, and it just ends up being the Medusa falling. IG support's going to come in here and grab
Dire's
a little
middle
bit
tower
more
is under
CS.
attack.
And down bottom, SRF actually doing amazingly on this Brewmaster. While the supports are away, he's picked up his level 6, almost level 7. He's got some phase boots, actually putting decent pressure on this Death Prophet. But needs to be careful, can't afford to play too aggressively, since it does look like there is a rotation potentially coming his way. Looks like the smoke was scouted by that IG ward, but is XXS even safe underneath his tier 1 tower? I'm not so sure. Supports are going to come up the... one of the supports coming up the river. Yuna going to go for the snowball in, but he didn't bring Old Chicken along with him. That could be a fatal mistake. Old Chicken does have the call down to try and counter-initiate. The homing missile connects on the Dusa. They don't really have the damage. They will glimpse back the Brewmaster. Nicely done. Baboka just going to turn tail and run out of here. XXS getting slowed down a little bit by the call down, but will get quite a bit of mana back off of that Mystic Snake, and still has 16 wand charges. Also in reserve. Probably for the best since they didn't put the Gyrocopter in there. And now they're going to go for aggressive hook shot in. MS also going to pop the Exorcism, but he gets right out of the cogs. Q, can he do enough? Nice Avalanche going to connect onto both of them. Aggressive tries to finish off the kill on Dark. Tower will do that job for him. MS still diving. Q trying to open up the space with the Vortex. Gonna juke his way through the trees, trying to evade these ghosts, but they catch up to him in the end. MS finds that kill, and now should also be able to get quite a bit more damage down the tier 1 tower. Cliff does get popped, Ghosts get a couple more shots, and with the help of the Siege Creep, looks like the tier 1 should still end up falling. SRF making a similar play down bottom, cutting the wave, has a couple of range creeps to help him out. Dark straight up TPs down here. Looks like he will be able to hold this off. So it's actually going to be Keen Gaming getting on the board first in terms of towers. MS does not manage to grab the last hit, unfortunately.
Radiant's middle
and we'll
tower
just start bringing
is
out
under
some
attack.
Eul's components as they hand over the mid lane to the Disruptor. Give him that level 6, that little bit faster. Old Chicken's happy to just be moving around and trying to find kills. And oh, well, the Primal Split gets popped
Radiant
bottom and
structures
Dark
are
goes down.
fortified.
So much for holding on to this bottom tier 1, perhaps. Aggressive? Only level 6. Doesn't quite have the
Radiant's
burst
bottom
damage, I think, to
tower is
threaten the
under attack.
Gyrocopter. And Yuna is also in the area, keeping tabs on things. Q a little bit worried after they lost that tier 1 tower that there is going to be some vision planted around here eventually, but He's gotten there just a little bit too early. Disruptor actually the one getting the wards delivered right this second, as Deuce is still trying to finish up her faces. They got to jump up top. They went for the gyrocopter, but not enough burst, though. The Ancient Apparition with his level 6. Ice Blast gets that kill. Well, Q with one last auto attack finishes it off, in fact. Nicely done by IG. Looks like there was a snowball save on the gyrocopter. I didn't think they had enough burst damage, but did not realize that this Ancient Apparition was already level 6. The supports on both teams have actually been getting quite a lot of levels. Disruptor mostly because he's been given this mid lane, while the gyrocopter's been away, and I would guess the Ancient Apparition mostly because the Deuce has died a couple times, and that's left the mid lane open to be farmed. The Deuce, I mean, she's already finding her home over here in the tri-camp area. I think she's gonna be just fine. And we do need Keen Gaming. We need this clockwork to... We really do need this clockwork to start making some more plays. But again, the Dire Wards continuing to scout these smokes. IG might actually be able to set a little bit of a trap. And Sand King, in fact, does have an Invis rune. He is going to reveal the clockwork. They haven't seen the gyrocopter and the tusk.
Dire's middle tower is
And the
under attack.
Brewmaster's over in the trees. He does have his Blink Dagger picked up, but well-timed Ice Shards could cancel that. Union's gonna spot him, and with that, SRF is instantly out of there. Not gonna risk anything. The Exorcism is back on off cooldown, so Keen also really
Dire's
wanting to
bottom
make
tower
use of
is
that,
under
as
attack.
they do come pushing in. But MS can't go too far forward. Blink, clap, Primal Split pop in 5 seconds. Along with the Ice Blast, they could quite easily burst him down. Those 15 wand charge is going to be meaningless in the face of the Ice Blast. And he will just back himself up. So we got the Death Prophet at the #1 spot, but other than that, Invictus Gaming doing a little bit better in terms of their farm, sitting at about a 1k lead. They've got this Primal Split that they're ready to use. Their smokes have been a little bit more successful than Keen Gaming's so far. And who can they find?
Radiant's
Old
bottom
Chicken
tower
would
is
be a
under
great
attack.
target.
Dire's
Not actually
middle
that tanky,
tower
only
is under
1k
attack.
HP. If they just land all of their spells, should be nice and easy. They're going to go in, they get the blink, they get the clap, the Ice Blast flying forward, straight into the Burst Strike. He gets off a Rocket Barrage, but that's going to be it. They don't even need the Primal Split to find this kill. Can they get a catch with the Clockwork, though? They do manage to get the glimpse back onto the Brewmaster, but he pops the Primal Split just in time as the Static Storm comes out. And Keen Gaming, having forced that out, will just back themselves. Brewmaster going to be forced to use this split just for a little bit of farm, and they might actually still be able to find him the second time around. Dark thinking about it. SRF still pretty deep behind enemy lines, but looks like they just have
Dire's
no idea that he's in
structures are
here.
fortified.
He blinks up onto the high ground,
Dire's
right into
middle
vision of
tower
this
is
Radiant
under
Observer
attack.
Ward, but I think he's already gone with the help of his phase boots. Exorcism's ready to go on mid, but Keen Gaming taking this one the old-fashioned way. So, not too tanky, does get jumped on here by the hook shot, but IG waiting around the tree line. They're going to be able to get the Ice Blast out onto Tuba. Boca gets pushed back by the cogs for a second, and Mess is tanking way too much damage off the tower. He was relying on his wand charges to keep him alive, but they can't do it through the Ice Blast. That's 4 dead instantly. IG baiting their Deusa perfectly. Oh man, Keen Gaming, that Dark just getting a little bit ahead of himself, hooking in that deep. Feeling like his
Dire's
Death Prophet
middle
was
tower
nice
is
and
under
strong,
attack.
but the tower aggroed onto her the instant she tried to press forward. The creep wave got cleared out very, very quickly. They didn't have their gyrocopter there for that little bit of additional damage, it looks like, and oh man, that is a huge boost for IG. XXS just shrines up and goes straight back to farming. He's gonna have his Mask of Madness in a second, aggressive. Not too far away from
Radiant's
the Blink
middle
Dagger,
tower is
and
under attack.
I mean, I talked about the Clockwork falling off in the later stages of the game, but it looks like it's kind of already happening. Dark only level 7, down amongst the supports right now. And I think the fact that the Deusa died so many times mid and Q actually got a bunch of levels has actually turned out to be a good thing for IG, strangely enough, because the damage output of the Ancient Apparition at this point of the game has actually been super pivotal for them in terms of getting these fights in. Boboka now also has his Blink Dagger picked up. So the double Blink's ready, 14 minutes in, huge amounts of team fight for IG, even triple Blink going to be coming up in just a second. Aggressive might just even sell his Stout Shield to secure that. And at this point, IG should be able to find pickoffs all over the place. They got a bunch of Blink disables, they've got the Ice Blast to follow in afterwards.
Dire's
This
top
Death
tower
Prophet
is
going to have
under
to be
attack.
really afraid The Yules would normally
Radiant's
be a pretty
middle
nice
tower
defensive
is under
tool, but
attack.
definitely going to need a BKB or something along those lines this game. We have occasionally seen people going for like a super fast Aeon Disc on Death Prophet. Could be an alright game for it, though maybe a little bit difficult to use against the Brewmaster. Like it could just get popped and then you just get cycloned until the Aeon duration wears out. IG playing nicely. They've got their 2 smoked supports behind the Tiny, but I don't know, with 1700 HP, are Keen Gaming even thinking about going for this? Their smoke breaks. They think that somebody's waiting in the trees. They're right. They just don't see
Dire's
Dark
middle
just
tower
yet.
has fallen.
He's still hidden in there. And Baboka. Alright, this Blink Dagger is going to get scouted. Nice Observer Ward placement, but what can Dark actually do? Needs some more backup to find the Tiny kill. And Tiny's still on the wave. Dark's going to come out, does spot him, but aggressive with the immediate blink away. And no opportunity for Dark to chase that further. And Deuce is still just hitting creeps. They have lost their mid-tier 1 tower at the end of the day, but IG still with enough map control, still have their tri-camp area completely on lockdown. And you're like, oh, where'd all these creeps go? It's just the Medusa's creep score going up and up and up. Yep, Dusa, despite those deaths, still well, at least the #1 last hits in the game. Alright, MS is just going to be going for BKB. Haven't been able to use this Exorcism for a little bit. Would be keen to pop it up top if they could. They've got the maxed out Glimpse. They've got those teamfight tools online, but I don't even know if IG are going to be offering them a teamfight. They're just kind of hunting for the pickoffs, splitting out the lanes. Keen Gaming, nobody defending mid at the
Dire's
moment.
top tower is under
Gyro's
attack.
farming over here. Death Prophet's pushing top, and Clockwork unfortunately just can't really push lanes. So Dark is just
Haste!
hitting some neutrals while he waits around here up top lane.
Players
He
here.
is so hungry for a kill. He's
Dire's
just like,
top tower
please,
is under attack.
somebody, offer
Radiant's
yourself
bottom
up.
tower
But
is
Q
under
is hanging
attack.
all the way back in the base. Baboka can burrow out. Aggressive can toss him out. They're going to try and make a go on the Medusa here, but just immediately pops the Stone Gaze. Does get glimpsed back, getting locked in a little bit longer, but they won't connect with the kinetic field, and now Yuna might be the one in some trouble. Aggressive jumps forward. Avatar's combo not getting the perfect combo down, but they don't need perfect. They just need the kill, and they are going to get it. Death Prophet right-clicking down the tower. Baboka comes in. There is a Yule Scepter. MS also with 2 points up in the silence. Can you prevent SRF from getting that off? Nope. TP out attempted from MS. Oof. Storm Panda just not quite able to get that tornado off. They will chase for more though. Aggressive locking in Dark. They also get the Cyclone up onto the Disruptor. Dark's going to be brought down. And now Baboka waits. They've also got another Boulder. And that is a double kill for your Sand King. They didn't get the big prize, which was the Death Prophet. They will be able to hold onto their tower, or at least get the deny. 65 HP left. Sand King getting scouted here, but Death Prophet not even feeling confident to finish off the kill on Baboka. So he just gets a ward down and away he goes. And Deuce is still just hitting creeps. XXS does have his Dragon Lance already completed. He's queuing up the Scotty, but I wonder if he might finish like a Hurricane Pike first. Just because he is playing against Clockwork and Tusk. But there will probably be other 4 stabs being built on his team right now. Ancient Apparition's working on one. Double damage for Dark. Sort of the 3 supporting cast members of Keen Gaming looking for a kill here. They spot SRF. They've got the Static Storm. Can they lock him down? They cancel his Blink with the Rocket Flare. Nicely done. Still got the Primal Split on cooldown for now, and they will grab that kill. Even popping Exorcism for this. I mean, the tower is only at 65 HP over here. MS should just be able to backdoor it with the Ghosts.
Dire's top
I
tower
would
is
think.
under
The
attack.
creep wave is soaking it a bit. He needs to be careful about getting ice blasted here. Yeah, pops his one charge just nice and early, but the tower actually lives. 39 HP. Dark, can you finish it with one
Dire's
touch?
top
No,
tower
he
is
can't.
under
Even with the
attack.
double damage, it's not enough. Keen Gaming. Come on, guys. Can't even finish this tier 2 tower. And success. Shoves bottom all the way up underneath the tower. Farms the double camp. Heading over
Radiant's
towards his
bottom
home
tower is under
in the
attack.
tri-camp area. Is he the highest level hero in the game right now? Yes, he is. Is he the most farmed hero in the game right now? Yes, he is. Hasn't really been contested at all.
Dire's top
Aggressive just
tower
picking up
has
a
been
Yasha,
denied.
so probably get SNY. on the agenda for him. Death Prophet not too far away from her BKB. Definitely going to be a very nice tool to have. Clockwork still working on a hood. And Gyrocopter also going to be trying for this double BKB timing, hoping that is going to be the answer for Keen Gaming, trying to close this game out before the Dusa becomes too big and too bad. They do get the silence onto the Sand King, but Baboka able to get the blink into the trees. Difficult to chase him too much further. He does burrow strike out of being completely locked in, but TP's out. He's fine. And the Smoke Gank squad is en route for Invictus Gaming. Not the best kill, the Tusk, but they're going to take it. Dead before he even hits the ground.
Crushed you.
So, Tiny 3-1-7, Old Chicken, just let his BKB on the courier. Alright, this is...
A gift from the Tempest of Battle.
This has got to be go time for Keen Gaming. This bottom tier 1 tower should pretty much be free.
I'll never see
The
this
only
coming.
problem is that they actually do have to press these BKBs. And that doesn't sound like a very difficult task, but when you're up against like a Blink Sand King stun, which can immediately be followed up by an Isoblast. Nice glimpse back, unable to dodge it with the Burrow Strike. Baboka will just be Rocket Barrage down. Keen Gaming find that initial pickoff. They have the Exorcism back up in 5 seconds time. Where are they going to choose to make a play? Looks like they will try and contest bottom. MS is going to be the first one here into the engagement. He pops the Exorcism. What can he actually get? He gets the Dual Scepter up onto the Medusa. She should pop the Stone Gaze. Will do so now. BKB pops. They actually tried to bring in Dark, but he gets bursted down. They've already got the Primal Split off, and Medusa's actually just right-clicking everybody to death over on this side of the fight. The Exorcism starts to pick up its damage, and MS still surviving pretty nicely. Q doesn't have his ultimate left, and the Earth Panda is just about to run out. Doesn't get the clap. SRF now the one in some more trouble. Aggressive, waiting for the Blink Avatos combo, but a nice Yules from the DP is going to keep her up. Does she have one more Spirit Siphon? She does not, and the Cold Feet looks like it will be just enough damage to finish that kill. And Old Chicken, in fact, is the only one left alive from the Keen Gaming side. Aggressive is going to be saved by his team, just tanking up and splitting the Rocket Barrage damage. Epicenter even thrown in there for good measure, and Invictus Gaming come out ahead on that fight. 5 for 1. The Medusa just doing way too much damage, surviving way too long. I don't know, it just took so much commitment from Death Prophet to finish that kill, and the Clockwork did absolutely nothing. He TP'd in, it looked like he got Avatos comboed and Ice Blasted, and just died straight away.
I'll take your tribute.
Like, did absolutely nothing else. They had a decent amount of damage, but looks like it was not enough against these very, very tanky IG heroes. And as those BKBs start to wear down more and more, IG's lead is only going to grow. Dusa will have Riscati for the next fight, and at that point, not even clear if she's gonna die, even if she does get focused by both the Death Prophet and the Gyrocopter. And it's not even just the Scotty. There's 4 stabs now coming up to help her out, and she's going to get her Mana Talent in the next couple of minutes. So yeah, Team Gaming starting to run into a little bit of a wall. They're still hunting for more kills. They see XXS up on this high ground. Just gonna stand in place. Baboka ready to help out if the need is there. They're also got SRF jumping in with the clap. Old Chicken popping his BKB. The Medusa still fairly tanky. Dark jumps in. That 4-step across, helping him out a little bit. If they can get him to this shrine, I think he will end up surviving. No, does get bursted down at the last moment by that by the flare. But Yuno just gonna get right-click down. 2 for 1 so far. They lose the 2 supports. Not the biggest deal in the world. MS not there at the fight just yet. SRF still chasing. Didn't even go straight for the BKB. Did opt to pick up a Vlad's Baboka. Only a few seconds to go until the epicenter. He's looking at Dark. He's looking at Old Chicken up here. Does need to be a little bit careful. The batteries also get popped. He gets the Burrow Strike out. Gyrocopter dropping low. The Shrine's still on cooldown for 35 seconds, and now Aggressive also jumps in. Nothing that Dark can do. Might be able to pop the cogs and save himself. MS is actually going to use the Exorcism. I think that should be IG's sign to back themselves out, and it will be. Aggressive tries for the TP out. Baboka jumps in with the epicenter. They burst down 1. Dark immediately buying back into this game, sensing that this might be some kind of opportunity for them to grab a couple more kills. He knows that they have to make this Exorcism worth it. They get 1 kill. Q also going to try for the TP out. Is that going to be successful? No. Yuna just in time with the TP. Cancels it with the snowball. Somehow Tiny looks like maybe got a toss away on the Death Prophet and was able to escape.
Got it.
So Aggressive still okay, but Keen Gaming
Radiant's
popping
top tower
BKBs
is under
and the
attack.
Exorcism on their side of the map, and looks like they aren't really going to be able to go and get too much more out of that fight. Meanwhile, Baboka, yeah, just shoves in bottom. So even though that worked out okay for Keen, Invictus Gaming still holding on to this 10k net worth lead, 10k experience. Clockwork buying back, slows him down even that little bit more. I mean, I guess he doesn't have that much net worth, so it wasn't that expensive of a buyback, but... What are they going to do once this Medusa hits level 20 and gets your Scotty? And yeah, speaking of the Scotty, it's finished. How far off is the level 18 on Death Prophet? That's a pretty big boost in damage for the Exorcism. Disruptor. Running forward here, but he's going to run straight into the Tiny, gets comboed down immediately, won't even be able to get off the Static Storm, and without that control, they have to just disengage now. Dark knows it. He's going to go for the TP out, nothing to cancel it. Nicely done. They do disengage, cutting their losses, but the Death Prophet needs to be careful. Ice Blast going to sail forward, does clip her, but they don't get her with the initial damage. XXS just outraging the tower for now. Use the Siege Engine on the front line. This Gyrocopter trying to pick up an SNY. Harassing a little bit, but it's already very difficult to deal with. Disruptor up in 15 seconds, and it looks like IG are just going to call it a day. Top lane's getting pushed in. There's a bunch of farm there waiting for the Medusa. So they're going to go and just spoon feed her that, get the level 20. Big power spike for the Medusa with the 700 mana talent. And Keen Gaming, what are they going for? Going to smoke on top of their sentry, making sure that they're not being scouted out by an observer ward. If they could go and get a fight on their side of the map, that would be huge. Not on their side of the map, but on the IG side of the map. If they could actually transition an Exorcism from a fight into a push, that would be great. But Baboka is just relentless in pushing things out on the other side, and IG, sensing that something might be up, just going to go and huddle up around their shrine. Also going to scout the Roche. They know that Keen Gaming are going to try something. I think both teams well aware of the situation that Keen are in. They have to keep making plays with these BKBs. They can't afford to sit back and farm and let the Medusa get another 1 or 2 items, because at that point she's just going to be impossible to deal with. Gyro had such a good start, but then they just couldn't quite keep the aggression going. I think maybe if they'd had a slightly better team fighting offlaner than the Clockwork, things could have been a bit different. Q, I mean, they see him, but he's got a Force Staff, and then there's multiple Force Staffs to help him out. They have at least broken this smoke. So looks like this one from IG will be scouted. Nicely done by Dark. Tiny just going to become even more of a beefcake as he works his way towards a heart, and it feels like King Gaming just going to start running into damage issues. MS does not get caught by the Burrow Strike, but they might even be able to glimpse back the Sand King and focus him down. He is going to Yules up himself. The hookshot comes in, but the Exorcism has been used, and Invictus Gaming will gladly sacrifice one member for the Exorcism being popped. They did also use the Primal Split, in fact, on the Brewmaster. So, alright, it did cost them a little bit more, but it's the 9-second BKB from the Death Prophet. Gyro still managing to hold on to his, and can they do something with this Exorcism? No, already down into the couple final seconds. They're still looking for more. The shrine is active. SRF getting chased down by Dark. Nice avalanche, going to buy him a couple more seconds. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this blink off, however. The Haste Rune, will it buy enough space? On the backlines, they've actually caught the Disruptor once again. They focus him down, and now MS without the Exorcism can't really go toe-to-toe with the Death Prophet, who's now going to get Ice Blasted up. Though Spirit Siphon Charge is not going to do anything. Aggressive sends her skyward, and now she's dead. XXS holds the high ground, right-clicking down, double kill for Aggressive. And Old Chicken with no BKB, no call down. Just going to be forced to run and retreat. SRF even surviving at the end of the day. Oh, the Deuce is just too big. XXS already has his Hurricane Pike. Gold towards the Butterfly, perhaps. Aggressive does go in, perhaps maybe a little bit too far. Looks like he might get brought down. Dark doing decent damage. Q saving him with the Force Staff. Dark still chasing Q. Can he help tank this battery assault? I think he could, but he's actually just going to stand here and right-click onto Dark. They lose the Gyrocopter on the backlines with the Epicenter. Baboka, does he have a way to cancel this TP? Nope, Dark does make it back to the fountain. tick out those last couple of
Radiant's
seconds
top tower
of the
is
Ice
under
Blast.
attack.
So, alright, they lose Tiny for the second time this game, but XXS takes up the mantle, and he'll be the one there to finish off the tier 1 tower. The last hit. Nice.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
SRF has his BKB and 150 gold. Tiny can go and grab his Reaver soon. Gonna be insanely difficult to bring him down at that point.
I'll take your
Death Prophet does almost have a Shiva's Guard finished up. But I guess it's pretty nice armor. The attack speed slow is gonna be pretty significant, but they just haven't really been. These last couple of exorcisms just feel like they have not done that much damage. And again, that comes back to the lockdown problem. Clockwork just getting kited around by Force Staff. Yeah, Baboka, Force Staff, Burrow Strike away. And Clockwork is just kind of left sitting on the cliff. Can they get him down? Do they have a Force Staff or something? Can they shards him down maybe? What's the plan here? Dark's still just trapped. And now Invictus Gaming are circling. Baboka's going to spot the Disruptor once again. Is he going to drop his spells instantly? Sentry Ward down. They don't want to use everything for just Baboka. He puts it down now, but he's already dead. Dark does manage to escape, but Team Gaming just kind of looking lost at this stage. They're like, well, we're not really winning 5-on-5 team fights. We're falling further and further behind in net worth. What do we even do? And IG just walks straight into Roshan. No real concerns. You have the one Observer Ward over here, spotting out the Clockwork. They're going to try and block his hook. Exorcism is going to get popped. King Gaming coming in from the backlines to get a nice two-man silence. Brewmaster being focused. SRF, can he even get his ultimate off? He will be able to. The BKB helps him out nicely. And Medusa kiting over to the other side of the fight. Does have the Stone Gaze. They're focusing on Roshan, who's going to be able to pick it up. It is Old Chicken grabbing the Aegis, but King Gaming, those BKBs are already running out. And the Stone Gaze catches on to the Death Prophet. She gets the Yules off, still healing a little bit more. Q already using the Ice Blast. MS trying to go 2v1 against the two big cores of Invictus Gaming, and he's still surviving. Old Chicken will be able to come over and help out now. XXS looks like he should actually be brought down, but no, he just gets out of range. He gets glimpsed back into the flat cannon. That finishes him, but Aggressive is still fighting fit. Old Chicken's coming back with the Aegis. Gets Burrow Struck. It looks like he will just get chain stunned into submission, but the Snowball saves him. They get over onto Q. Old Chicken continues to fight. The Static Storm locking down a couple more. Tiny unable to close the gap onto his targets, and Old Chicken's still able to let go with the Rocket Barrage, but these IG cores are just too tanky. They live through everything. Baboka chasing for more. He's got a Blink and a Burrow, almost catching Yuna, but it looks like the Tusk will be the lone survivor. Oh man, even with the Aegis, even with, did they get the, no they didn't get the, oh no they did get the Roshan last hit. Even with all of that going right for them, they just couldn't kill the Tiny and the Medusa. It took them everything that the Death Prophet had to kill just the Medusa, and then Aggressive was like, hey guys, I'm still alive. I'll clean this one up. So at this point, IG probably not in the position that they were hoping to be. I think they wanted to jam the Aegis onto the Medusa and look to go and close out the game, but if it takes them another 8 minutes of farming, I don't think they're too worried. These BKBs have already dwindled down to 6 seconds and 7 seconds, respectively, on the Keen Gaming cores. The Clockwork is still languishing at 9.2k net worth, hardly contributing any damage to these fights. And that's just Clockwork. You know, there aren't that many items that you can really buy to amplify your damage output that much. He's even opting for the, opted for the 15 strength over the 30 battery assault damage. XXS is not going to be going for the butterfly here, instead just going for the AC. Tank up his team a little bit more against that Exorcism, as if they weren't tanky enough. Now they get the hook in onto the Medusa, but there should be a 4-step back. Nice cogs push into the silence. Medusa getting locked down, but the rest of the team is coming in, and now Baboka goes in with the Burrow Strike. They're going to prevent the Disruptor from getting his spells off. Medusa being focused down. 4-step back towards the team. Aggressive will just turn tail and run. The Primal Split gets popped. Exorcism being soaked up a little bit here, as they will just isolate the Death Prophet, leaving her in the air, but Boka comes back in with the Epicenter. They're going to focus on the Clockwork this time around. Dark does manage to get Force-staffed a little bit further away. Yuna trying for the Snowball save, but it's not going to be enough. Aggressive needs to reset so that his heart can heal him back up. There is a buyback from the Clockwork. Aggressive just waiting for that healing to kick in. 295 HP a second flowing back into him. And Dark won't be able to find anyone. It's a 2-for-1 fight overall with a buyback expended. Without the Exorcism, Keen Gaming can't really cross over the river. And IG just gonna go right back to farming. Keen Gaming do have their gem, so map control gonna be a little bit lacking for both teams at this point. For IG, this Dusa can just keep getting scarier. The Tiny is gonna start to taper off a little bit, which could be a concern, and the Gyrocopter does always have that ace up his sleeve. Old Chicken gonna be going for the Rapier up next. Death Prophet. Oop, they're just trying to build as many. They're just trying to build a million Heaven Halberds so they can control the Dusa. I don't know. If you see this in your Medusa, do you just finish your AC and then buy a BKB? And you're like, yeah, nice Heaven's Halberds, guys. But I mean, we're gonna talk about what, 3 Heaven's Halberds soon for Keen Gaming. I don't know, maybe they still have a chance here. Of course, if they do get the Heaven's Halberd on the Medusa before she pops the BKB, still get that nice long duration disarm. But Dusa still has, I mean, even more strength to gain in this game. Her inventory is not completely filled out, doesn't even have the split shot, uses modifiers just yet. SRF jumping in aggressively onto the Disruptor, Ice Blast. Looks like it's going to connect nicely. Q grabs that kill on the other side. Baboka and aggressive. Look for the kill on Old Chicken. He does just barely manage to escape, popping his BKB to survive. IG gonna start flexing their muscles a little bit more over on the Radiant side of the map. So long as they're playing on the Radiant side, I don't see how they can ever really lose, because Keen Gaming would have to like 5-0 a fight to be able to go and push any of the entire buildings. There you go. Radiant tier 2 dead.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Baboka just going to go right back to pushing out this bottom lane. It's been a favorite pastime of his this game. But it is putting a lot of pressure on Keen, who will just go marching down the mid lane, looking for those kills once again. Aggressive on the front line is going to go onto the Clockwork, but doesn't even get the stun from the Avalanche. The Ice Blast comes through. It has connected on the Death Prophet despite her being Yuled up. The Exorcism doing decent work. Dusa disarmed the one time. Old Chicken standing in the middle of everything. They're trying to push their Medusa out of this fight, but the Cogs are preventing her from doing anything. Aggressive runs in. They lose the Clockwork. Death Prophet still up in the air. The Exorcism doing its job. Old Chicken has been isolated though on the north side. Can they bring him down? Baboka continues pursuit. The Fire Panda also helping out to get that last burst strike, and they get that kill. They have lost the Dusa, and they've also lost the Tiny. The Exorcism from MS doing more than enough damage, along with the help from the Gyrocopter. They do actually get this. SRF trying to make his escape. Looks like he's going to be okay, even though his TP scroll is on cooldown. Baboka going to try and keep them outside of the base, and there's 2 catapults already hitting their tier 3 tower. Might be forced to use a buyback. They do have a glyph. Disruptor comes in. Alright, nice heals from the Sand King. Prevent the vision, prevent the glimpse. And Keen Gaming, how much can they actually get here? There's the glyph coming in. Epicenter still on cooldown for a little bit, as is the Primal Split. There's 3 heroes pushing into the base. And nobody really willing to buy back, or so it seems. Maybe the Ancient Apparition will buy back as soon as they get the jump here. Baboka going in, gets the burst strike out into 2, but Yuna spots SRF in the back lines, isolates him with the snowball. He now manages to jump past, going onto the Disruptor. BKB gets popped, only 1 more auto attack, or 2. Maybe hoping for a crit, does get it at the last second. MS, but it's being kited, controlled. There is a Yules for Baboka. And it looks like even without any buybacks expended, IG will be able to hold.
Got it.
Alright. Gyro 3k gold towards the Rapier. Brewmaster is building up a Nullifier. Brewmaster's damage actually getting pretty strong as this game is going on. Does the Dusa have her AC just yet? No, not quite. XXS has actually been dying pretty reliably in these last few fights. Gyrocopter actually doing so much damage in that last fight. I think he had like almost 5k damage dealt. And aggressive. Ooh, what can they find? Boca. They probably need the epicenter damage. No, maybe not. The Ice Blast coming in, but they've actually got the snowball save. That's not going to connect. Now Old Chicken pops the BKB. They focus on aggressive. The Force Staff helps him a little bit. Aggressive might be able to turn around and finish him off in just a second. SRF also coming in. He's got the Primal Split. Old Chicken's not dead yet, though. And now MS will be able to pop the Exorcism. Aggressive gets Force Staff a little bit further away, but Yuna finishing him off. They now rely on the Medusa to finish this fight, but the Death Prophet might be able to close the gap. XXS knows that he's in a lot of trouble, especially when he's used his Hurricane Pike already. He does get disarmed as well. Dark still surviving inside of his cog. Static Storm Kinetic Field getting dropped on the high ground, not really catching anybody. They're looking for Baboka. He's still got Epicenter. That's going to do decent damage. He wants to jump in on MS if he can. They've also got the Ice Blast, throwing it over towards the Death Prophet. The Glimpse comes back. They now nullify the Death Prophet, right-clicking it down. XSS holding the high ground. MS pushing too far into the fight. Didn't have the backup of the Gyrocopter, and now Baboka might be able to look for more. SRF also chasing. Old Chicken just wants to clear out this wave. They know that the Medusa is going to be knocking on their door in just a couple of seconds' time. Did we have any other buybacks used there? No. So the Gyro actually escaped. Tiny did not. But it turns out, even with the Tiny dead, IG can still hold their own. They did a very good job of kiting the Death Prophet. I think that was the biggest thing. The Tiny died, they kind of retreated back to this hill, waited for Baboka to be in a good position to get off another blink. They waited out the BKB, and then the Ice Blast, which was so devastating, along with the Nullifier from the Brewmaster. Nothing that MS could really do, and now he's dead for 40 seconds with Adusa inside of their base. AA has his Aghanim Scepter delivered. Q with the ultimate ready. Baboka just wants to see the racks fall. Not going to be doing anything too crazy. Old Chicken does have his BKB. 4k gold towards the Rapier, but still going to take him another couple of minutes to farm that. And XXS is right here, and he's right here, right now, taking the lane of racks. Pushing up that gold lead even further for IG. Now a 20k advantage.
From the tempest of battle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Disruptor going to come out here, knows that Roshan's going to be the next big objective, and really wants to get vision in the area. So, going to keep tabs on the shrine. They've got vision even further up. He doesn't want to go anywhere that might be currently scouted by IG observers, or he doesn't want to put anything too obvious that's going to be dewarded by the gem. I believe the gem is still on. There's still a gem on both sides. Yeah, Yuna's got one on the Tusk, and we have the other one on Baboka. On the Sand King. I still feel like the inevitability of this game still kind of lies with IG, but Team Gaming giving them a run for their money, and this Rapier could be a very big deal in the next couple of fights. Old Chicken only 800 gold away at this point. XXS is going to be going for the Butterfly instead of the BKB. We'll see. Maybe these Heaven's Halberds are going to do the work, and Team Gaming want to try and use this ward up on the high ground as they come smoking out. They'd like to lay claim to this Roshan if they can. SRF might get jumped. Pops the BKB, gonna go for the Primal Split. We'll be able to get it off. Aggressive now focusing onto Yuna. That snowball save has been big for the team in this game, but Baboka's not gonna let him have the opportunity to use it. MS might now get kited. IG gonna retreat back up onto their high ground. Dark, he actually has his hookshot blocked nicely by the Storm Panda, and they send the Gyrocopter up into the air. They're wasting duration on the Exorcism. IG kiting well. Medusa caught inside the Static Storm. Ice Blast gonna come flying in, does collect onto a couple. MS still surviving through, pops his BKB. Now the Cogs and the Shards splitting up the fight, but the Medusa's dropping insanely low. Won't be able to get anything else off. He's dead. Aggressive, what can he actually do? Baboka's being forced away on the other side of the fight. The homing missile chases after him. Is he going to be brought down? Almost escaping. Blink in 1 second's time. Looks like Baboka should be able to play his way out of this one. Where is Aggressive in the meanwhile? Picking BKB. And Team Gaming, they look at the Roche, but their bottom lane also demands attention. And they will just back themselves out. It's a gem in the trees. Alright. SRF gonna grab that. So that was the Tusk's gem. There is no longer a gem over on the Radiant side, but we do have a Rapier. Old Chicken picking that one up. He really wants this Aegis, and the Deuce is still dead for 50 seconds, but he can't afford to get bursted down here. He gets burst struck up. He's down already at half HP, just getting cleaved 3. Might lose this Rapier. Picks up an Invis, but he's dead. Rapier hits the deck. They might be able to retrieve it for him, but he doesn't have a buyback, and now they're chasing after. Aggressive, looking for more. MS doesn't even have the Exorcism for 60 seconds. Invictus Gaming may have just won the game right here. MS pops his BKB. Gonna go for the TP out. Tusk getting brought down. Who actually managed to... Who's got the Rapier? Alright, it's the Clockwork with the muted Rapier in his inventory. Yuna does manage to get the blink away, but IG have blinks of their own. They're going to finish that kill. 70 seconds dead for the Gyrocopter. Deuce is going to be back up soon. And it looks like IG should be the ones to claim the Roshan at the end of the day. Oh, man. I mean, they've got that Rapier. It's in their fountain, but I don't know if that's gonna matter. 29k gold lead for IG. About to pick up an Aegis and a Cheese. No refresher shard just yet. Brewmaster up to level 25, so down to a 35-second primal split cooldown. The 20-second duration. There you go. Aegis of the Immortal on the Medusa. She's been dying pretty consistently in these fights, but I don't think Keen Gaming have enough in the tank to be able to kill her twice. And for IG, they still have items to farm. That Deuce Butterfly, Aggressive still has maybe 1 or 2 upgrades to grab. And the Brewmaster even turning into a decent right clicker at this stage of the game. AA going for a Hex.
New treasures.
GPM talent's been ticking away this whole time. Sand King also going for Hex. Oh man. Alright, we're going full control the Gyrocopter at this point. How many Rapier games have I cast in like the last 3 days?
Haste.
We had 4 Rapiers in 3 games from Sylar, and now we have a Rapier in this game. So I think I'm like averaging half a Rapier a game in these Chinese qualifiers. Sometimes that's what you need to do to try and win in this kind of situation. IG content to just come around, do some dewarding. We got an Ags now up on Viboka. Brewmaster going to be going for a Radiance. Maybe a little bit late for that, but yeah, I know, right? SRF's like, yeah, maybe I don't need Radiance at this point. Maybe I'll just get an Octarine Core. Spam that ultimate non-stop. Finish off the shrine. Don't want any random TPs coming into their backline. And I think at this point, Keen Gaming might actually need to go for a wraparound play. The Aegis Medusa is going to siege their base, and I think they just have to go and catch the backlines. Burst the Tiny, burst the Sand King. Has to be the best situation, and just leave the Medusa until last. But not the case right now. Medusa's just going to work on the tier 3. They haven't found their angle. Dark does jump in. Aggressive in some trouble, but there's multiple force stabs getting him out of there. They do get the glimpse back. Aggressive forced to pop his BKB, and I think that's a pretty long duration. 9-second BKB used. As IG will just reset. They don't quite manage to claim the tier 3, but the Exorcism was used by MS. That's the big reason that IG are resetting. They're just waiting out the Exorcism duration. The unreliable nature of this Clockwork initiation is really coming back to bite Keen Gaming.
Regeneration.
Like if they have an actual stun, then you can at least kind of try and stun the Tiny while he's facing forward, or chain stun him while he's facing forward. But Clockwork comes in, and then Tiny just immediately turns around.
There he goes.
Gets force staffed out. Doesn't help that he's got the grow status resistance as well there. He's able to force the Medusa into some cogs, do a little bit of damage to the mana, but not going to be easy to fight without that Exorcism. Still 80 seconds to go. Old Chicken going to come in, start laying into Exoctest with the Rapier. Baboka manages to jump onto one. It's only MS, and he gets nullified straight out of his Yule Scepter. He's going to get focused down. Good snowball save, but that might drag him a little bit further outside of the base. SRF now popping the ultimate. Where is this Gyrocopter? Does he even have any flak charges? He's actually got the flak gun and off cooldown, but doesn't feel confident to commit. They will buy back on the Death Prophet. but still doesn't have the Exorcism, and IG already bringing down the top lane of Rax. They're keeping the Death Prophet away from the fight. Where is the Gyrocopter? Old Chicken is the only hope for Keen Gaming, and he gets caught by the first toss. They will be able to force staff him a little bit further away, but he's already down at half HP. Aggressive, sending him back to the fountain with one more auto attack. Dark trapped inside of his own cogs. He gets off a final hook, but that is going to be the end of it here for game 1 as IG will send Keen Gaming packing. They had a decent start. The Gyrocopter looked like he was doing really well with the rotations from his supports, but IG just didn't really care. The Dusa died, but the Ancient Apparition just came right in, soaked up all of that experience. They're going to end the game with a 47k net worth lead. Aggressive played pretty solidly. The IG smokes, I think, were just much more effective overall. We saw multiple smoke attempts from Keen Gaming do nothing. Either they smoked on top of a ward, or they smoked in a really obvious way, and they just never quite found those pickoffs that would allow them to go and use the Exorcism on a building on the other side of the map. They were just constantly popping Exorcism, and then Invictus Gaming were just like, see ya, you can have Sand King, we don't care. You take him. We're just gonna go push the lanes out, you don't have Exorcism anymore. I mean, a bold play, or I guess a hopeful play by the Gyrocopter at the end there to buy Rapier, but it was already a little bit too little too late. And with that, we're gonna have to head into our second game. What else would us go? I got everybody's playing Battle Cup, and here I am casting. But yeah, it never really seemed to be too much doubt. There was that slightly tense moment when they lost the Tiny and the Medusa, and the Death Prophet was still alive, and they were going, and they managed to get that tier 3 tower, but they held that without using a single buyback, which was very, very surprising. So Keen Gaming, probably a couple of adjustments to be made for the next game. Namely, don't pick Clockwork offlane, please. I don't even think Dark is a bad player. I just don't think that this hero has a place being played offlane. I think he's even relatively weak compared to a lot of the position 4s right now. I would put Clockwork behind Sand King, behind Tusk, behind I might even put Clock behind like StarLadder at the moment, which is maybe that's a controversial statement, but anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. We're going to head into the lobby for Game 2. These StarLadder games have been pretty snappy, so I'm expecting Game 2 to start in less than 10 minutes time. So I'll hopefully catch you guys back here for Game 2 of Invictus Gaming versus Keen in just a little bit.